Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Easter. Welcome to Kev's Taste of Enchantment. My channel is designed to show you some Southwestern style cooking. A lot of the recipes that I will be showing you are New Mexico style based cooking, but a lot of it is also going to be with a Southwestern flair, taking other recipes and putting the Southwestern into it and giving it that Southwestern flair. However, today we're going to be cooking my salsa recipe that I came up with. And my ingredients today are, we've got some New Mexico red chili. I've got some of the chili over here that I've already cleaned and prepped. We've got some cilantro. We've got 2 Roma tomatoes, a jalapeno, 3 red Fresno chili peppers, some red wine vinegar, some garlic salt, cumin, and cayenne pepper. As we go through the recipe, I will show you the ingredients and how much you need to add. So let's get started. All right, so one of the first things that we want to do, I've already prepared all these chilies here, but I want to show you how to prepare the New Mexico red chili. You want to take a butter knife, you want to pop that stem off right there. You want to shove that butter knife up in there. You want to try and get as many as the seeds out of there as possible. And what you want to do is you want to put all your chilies into a pan like so. And you want to rinse them really good. Because obviously the chilies were grown, they get dusty. You want to make sure they're good, because what we're going to do is we're going to boil these chilies so we can get them nice and soft, and then we're going to blend them up. But the water that's in here, we're going to use that water as we blend them up. So let's get ready to boil the chilies. So I've got my chilies on the stove here, my New Mexico red chili. I'm prepping them for boiling. I've got the stove on, getting ready for them to boil. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use my core with my Roma tomatoes, and I'm going to core each tomato because I want to get the soft part out of the tomato. I only want to use the meat from the outside. So I've got 1 tomato cored. Got another tomato cored here. Get all that soft inside of that tomato out of there. That way we have nothing but good solid meat that's going to go into the salsa. Now we're going to come over here. Like I said, I've got 1 jalapeno. And I've got my 3 Fresno chilies. The reason why I'm using 3 today instead of just 2, which I normally use, is because these ones are a little bit smaller than what I normally get. So it's normally 2 Fresnos to 1 jalapeno, but like I said, the Fresnos are a little bit smaller today, so I'm going to be using 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop the ends off of all of the chilies here. Okay, while I was waiting for my chilies to boil, which are done, I'll show you right here. They are nice and soft, ready for me to blend up. In the meantime, while I did that, I chopped up all my ingredients. I've got here onion, my Fresno chilies, 3 Fresnos, 1 jalapeno. I've got my cilantro. I've got 2 small cloves of garlic. Now, you can vary on how much you want to use. If you've got a nice large clove of garlic, then you only want to use 1. If you've got larger Fresno chilies, then you only want to use 2 Fresnos to 1 jalapeno. But today I had to use 3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chilies here, and I've made more than enough of what I'm going to use, because the rest of it I will freeze for another recipe that I will show you, which will be New Mexico enchiladas. But I'm going to take my chilies and I'm going to put them here in the blender, like so. I'm going to take some of the water that I boiled the chilies in, which is why it's important to clean your chilies before you actually boil them. And when you pour the water in there, you want to go about halfway up in the blender for the amount of chilies that I use there. Now, depending on how much you use is how much you will use of the water. So now I'm ready to blend my chilies. So I'm going to hit the blend button, and of course I've got the Now that we've got it nice and blended up, what we want to do is we want to take the pot that we originally boiled it in, rinse it out, and what you're going to want is you're going to want a fine strainer like this, because you want to get all the pulp out of the chilies so you can strain it out for your sauce. So you're going to want to pour it in there, nice and slow. And from here, what you want to do is you want to take a spoon and you just want to stir it around, getting all of the sauce to strain through the metal strainer. It's going to take you a little bit because with that fine strainer, it's going to strain all that pulp out from the chilies. But in the end, you're going to have a delicious sauce that is going to go into your salsa. So I blended up my red chili. This is what the pulp looks like. And this is what your chili is going to look like when you're all said and done after straining it. So what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to add a few seasonings to the chili. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic, cumin, and just a couple of sprinkles. Not too much because cumin is actually very strong. Then I'm going to add some garlic salt to this. Use as much as you desire to your taste. Now I'm going to transfer this to the stove right now, and I'm going to put it on a low heat, and I'm going to bring it to a slight boil so everything can meld together, and then we will get prepared to start making our salsa. Alrighty, so we've let our red chili simmer, let everything meld. Now we're going to put all our rough cut ingredients into the blender here. That would be your onion, your garlic, your red Fresnos, your jalapenos, and we're also going to add our can of fire roasted tomatoes to this. Now I've taken my 2 Roma tomatoes and I've set them aside, and I've rough cut them as well. Depending on how thick you want your salsa, do you want it chunky, do you want it thin, you could always add a little bit of tomato in there. You could add all of the tomato in there, but if you add all of the tomato in there and you put it in through the blender, it's going to become a thin salsa. If you want a little bit more of a chunky salsa, you want to set some tomato aside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a half a cup of this New Mexico red chili that we just prepared, and we're going to pour this inside the blender, just like so. Now, as you can see, I've got a lot of red chili left over. You could freeze this red chili and you could use it as another time. I'm going to use this red chili next time to show you how to make New Mexico style enchiladas. Now what we want to do is we want to take a little cayenne pepper. We want to take a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Level that bad boy off. We're going to put that in there like so. We're going to take a half teaspoon of cumin. We're going to put that in there like so. Now this is what gives the salsa a nice little kick in flavor. We've got our red wine vinegar. We're going to take a nice teaspoon of red wine vinegar and let it overflow just a little bit, and we're going to add that right to our salsa. Now it's time to blend. With my blender, I'm going to let it pulse it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and cancel it because I don't want it too thin. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a new pot, pour everything into that new pot, along with my Roma tomatoes that I left on the side. That way it'll be a little bit more chunky. I'm going to let it blend up, and I'm going to put it on the stove, and I'm going to let it meld for a minute. We'll be right back. Alrighty, so we're all done. Here's our finished product. This is our salsa. We've got our chips right here. Now I've got some leftover red chili from what I made earlier, and I've also got extra salsa right here. I've got them in some canning jars because you can actually can this product, both the red chili and the salsa. If you want to can it, you got to buy yourself some canning jars, put it in a water bath for 20 minutes on a boil, and it'll last for a good 6 months. Alrighty, Dan, let me see what you think of the salsa.
A solid 8.
Thank you, Dan.